They want to make $10,000 a month. Or they want a boat or a fancy new house in a better school district. They want to lose weight or have a better relationship with their spouse. This is a great start, but you want to dig deeper and get to the internal desires as well. So ask follow-up questions based on their answers. Question number 1. Why do you want to make $10,000 a month? Why do you want that fancy new house? What's so important about the school district you're in? Then they'll start revealing the values and beliefs that are truly important to them. Maybe they want $10,000 a month to prove to their family that they're a good provider. Or maybe they have a favorite charity they want to support in a big way. Maybe they want to be in a good school district because their kids aren't being challenged where they are. Or maybe they are childless and their spouse has given up hope of ever having a family. They are hoping that moving to a good school district will demonstrate that there's still hope. Do you see how very different those inner desires can be for different people, even though they want the same things? You need to know those inner reasons why they want what they want. So keep digging until they reveal those deep emotional connections. At the end of the day, we all want the same things: respect, inclusion, and purpose. When you dig and eventually they say something that reveals one of these 3 things, you can stop and move to the next question. They might say, I just want my father to respect me. Or, I want my life to have a purpose, so I live on when I die. Or, I want to be part of something bigger than myself. Train yourself to listen carefully for these cues. Then move on to the next question. Question number 2. Clearly, you know what you want. You've painted a really great picture for me. So let me ask you this: why don't you have it yet? What's been standing in your way or holding you back? Here you're looking for their obstacles and objections. If they don't have what they want yet, there must be a reason. And you need to know whether you can help them with those obstacles or not. If they start blaming other people, you can't help them. Listen for them to say things like, my spouse doesn't support me, or I tried XYZ program and it didn't work. That guy was useless. If they're blaming other people or outside circumstances for their failures, you really don't want them as a client. You want people who will take responsibility for their own actions. So listen for some version of, I don't know how. Maybe they say, I tried XYZ program, but I just didn't understand the finer details. I need to take the time to master the process. The key here is the word I. If they talk about themselves a lot, then chances are you can help them. If they don't know how to do something and you can help them, you're going to have a successful relationship. Next, it's time to get them thinking about possibilities. Question number 3. I want you to think about what resources, connections, talents, or skills you have access to that you're not currently utilizing 100%, that we could use to help overcome your obstacles and achieve your goals. Give them some time to think about it. They might come up with some great answers, or they might come up with something off the wall. The point is to get them thinking about the possibilities. Whatever they come up with is good. Encourage them to keep thinking. Keep asking, what else? What else, until they run out of ideas. When they do, you say this. Okay, so let's review for a minute. 1. It looks like you know exactly what you want. You told me you want underscore 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 because underscore 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 underscore. 2. Now you haven't been able to achieve that before primarily because of underscore 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 and underscore 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 underscore, right? Now I briefly talk about my experience with the same obstacles they are struggling with, and ask them if they think I could help them to overcome those obstacles. 3. And last, it looks like you have all these resources you could leverage that you're not leveraging yet, right? I then ask them, how much more money do you think you'd make, or how much weight would you lose, or how much better would your marriage be, if you were able to eliminate the obstacles and leverage those resources? I let them explain to me what will happen. Oh man, if I could do that, I'm pretty sure I could make $1 million, or lose a ton of weight, be so much happier in my marriage. I then transition to the final question. Question number 4. 4. So I only have one more question. Do you want me to help you? Then I stop talking. I don't say another word until they answer. Most of the time, they will say yes. Then all I have to do is say, great. Here's how it works. My fee is $_________________________________________________________________________________ For that money, you get _____________________________________________________________________________________________________________________ take care of the financial details right now. Would you like to do that? If they say yes, you're done. Usually the only reason they won't agree at this point is because they don't have the money. If that's the case, you can offer a payment plan. If you've done a good job with the questions, and they can afford your fee, then you should close most of the people you talk to. Just send them off to your assistant to handle the credit card details, and you're all set. And that's how the 4-question close works. Secret number 19. The perfect webinar hack. As you can see, it takes time to create a perfect webinar presentation. Most people spend a week or 2 creating their first one. And even though I've been using the format for years, I'll often spend a couple of days creating one presentation. While that's really not a long time to create the foundation of millions of dollars in a business, sometimes you don't have that much time. For example, about 2 years ago, I was helping a close friend launch a new company that sold automated webinar software. His sales process looked very traditional, and they were getting average sales driving traffic into his funnel. Then he decided to launch an affiliate contest where the winner got $50,000. I thought it would be fun to compete, but I knew the only way I could win was to change how he was selling his product. I had planned on creating a perfect webinar, but as the deadline to win the $50,000 got closer, I ran out of time. I was competing against 100 other affiliates who had been promoting for several weeks, and I was way behind. There were only a few days left before the contest ended. I was about to give up and just blow it off, but then I had an idea. What if I could quickly create a perfect webinar and launch it, in the next 10 to 15 minutes? Ha! I had to laugh at myself for a minute. Then I got serious. I knew I could never pull it off with traditional PowerPoint or Keynote slides. But what if I just wrote out the key components on a whiteboard? I had no idea if it would work, but it was my only shot. So I started asking myself a lot of the questions I've covered throughout this book. I'm going to run through them quickly for you right now, because that's all I was able to do in the 15 minutes before I went live with this presentation. Note, all these elements could have been much stronger if I'd had more time, but I only had 15 minutes before I went live, so I had to think really fast. I want you to see what you can pull together when you use the concepts in this book as guidelines. Question number 1. What's the new opportunity I'm offering? Answer: increasing webinar sales using my weekly webinar model. For this product, we were selling automated webinar software, which was nothing new. So I offered them a new opportunity to sell more through webinars using my weekly webinar model. This was a new opportunity that most people, at the time, had never heard of. Question number 2. What is the one big domino for this offer? Answer: if I can get them to believe that doing webinars through my model is the only way they can get to 7 figures in the next 12 months, then they have to give me money. So I wrote out this title: How to Make, at least, 7 figures next year with this webinar model. Question number 3. What special offer can I create for those who purchase? Answer: I spent 5 minutes writing out my stack on a whiteboard, including everything I would give people who purchased through my affiliate link. His software helped people conduct webinars, so I brainstormed things I already had that would complement what he was selling. Here is what my stack looked like. What you're gonna get: the perfect webinar script $497. The perfect webinar training $9,997. Video of my closing live $2,997. Perfect webinar funnel $997. My webinar funnel, priceless. Total value, $14,988. Question number 4. What is my Epiphany Bridge origin story? Answer: the story about how I bombed at my first event and Armand Morin taught me how to do the stack. Question number 5. What are 3 false beliefs they have about this new opportunity, the 3 secrets, and what epiphany bridge stories will I tell to break those false belief patterns? I broke them down like this. A. What is their number 1 false belief about webinars, the vehicle we were putting them into? B. What epiphany bridge story do I have that got me to believe in webinars? I knew my epiphany had occurred when I learned the script for how to sell on webinars, which eventually became the perfect webinar. So I then wrote on the whiteboard. Secret number 1, it's all about the script. Then I went into secret number 2. C. What is their number 1 false belief about their personal ability to execute on this vehicle? D. What epiphany bridge story do I have that got me to believe in my abilities? For me, my big epiphany was understanding how the webinar model worked, and that I could actually do it. So I then wrote on the whiteboard. Secret number 2, understanding the model. Finally, I thought about the 3rd secret. E. What is their number 1 false belief or outside force that they think will keep them from success? F. What epiphany bridge story do I have that got me to understand the truth? For me, my epiphany was understanding that this only works if you do it live every week until it converts to actual results. I then wrote down. Secret number 3, you have to do this live until. Now those probably weren't the best titles in the world, and I'm sure with a few days of massaging them, I could have made them amazing. But this whole process only took me about 15 minutes. Then I had to figure out how to promote this message to the most people in the least amount of time. I didn't have time to set up a webinar funnel and get people into a sequence. I needed to start getting sales immediately. So I opened up 2 of my phones, turned on Facebook Live and Periscope, and clicked Go Live on both platforms. Because I already have strong followings in both places, I was live in front of hundreds of people within seconds. I did the presentation by just talking off the top of my head, sharing my epiphany bridge stories, and then going into my stack and close. Within 26 minutes and 32 seconds, my presentation was done. I had no idea if it was good or bad, it was all so quick. But as I looked at my stats, I saw the sales flooding in. I was then able to promote those presentations on Facebook and other places for the next 3 days until the contest was over. During this time, over 100,000 people saw this presentation. We ended up doing over $250,000 in sales and I won the $50,000 cash prize. Not bad for only 15 minutes of preparation. And while I thought that was pretty cool, even more exciting was the fact that Brandon and Kaylin Poulin saw what I did and decided to model it. Within a few days, they launched a Facebook Live session, and did almost the same thing. They had their stack written down on a whiteboard, and Kaylin wrote her 3 secrets on paper, which she showed as she was teaching and telling her stories. Their first try at this process made them over $100,000, and they've gone on to do it each month since. In fact, recently they did over $650,000 from one Facebook Live presentation, using the perfect webinar script without any PowerPoint slides, just a whiteboard and a few sheets of paper. As you master the perfect webinar script and you get better at telling stories and delivering your offer, you can use it to sell almost any product with just a few minutes' notice. The perfect webinar is perfect. The only time it doesn't work is when people mess it up by not following what I've laid out in this book. In fact, if you try it and it doesn't work, I can tell you from experience it's probably for one of these reasons. 1. You picked a bad market and no one wants to hear what you have to say. 2. You built an improvement offer and no one wants to buy it. 3. You slipped into teaching mode and didn't create an environment for change. If you pick a good market, make a new opportunity that is truly irresistible, and then use your presentation to break and rebuild their belief patterns around that new opportunity, it works. I promise. As you follow what I do online, you'll see me using this script and story process in all sorts of situations, including video sales letters, teleseminars, product launch videos, Google Hangouts, Facebook Live videos, and even in my email sequences. On the following page is a cheat sheet you can use to structure your perfect webinars fast. Perfect Webinar Cheat Sheet. Question number 1, what's the new opportunity I'm offering? Question number 2, what is the one big domino for this offer? Question number 3, What special offer can I create for those who purchase? Question number 4. What is my Epiphany Bridge origin story? Question number 5. What are 3 false beliefs they have about this new opportunity, the 3 secrets, and what Epiphany Bridge stories will I tell to break those false belief patterns? A. False belief, vehicle. B. Epiphany Bridge story, vehicle. C. False belief, internal. D. Epiphany Bridge story, internal. E. False belief, external. F. Epiphany Bridge story, external. Secret number 20. Email Epiphany funnels. One of my biggest breakthroughs happened when I realized that I could use this perfect webinar process in all areas of my marketing, including email. In .com Secrets, I talked about a concept I learned from Andre Chaperon called soap opera sequences, SOS, which are the emails you send to someone when they first join your list. He called them soap opera sequences because each email ends with a hook that draws you to the next episode, just like a soap opera does. For years, I had been using SOS emails with different story structures. I even shared some in the .com Secrets book. But when I started seeing people use the perfect webinar in different situations like Facebook Live and video sales letters, I had a thought, I wonder if this would also work as an email sequence. In fact, I wonder if I could do all the selling by email, and not even push them into attending a presentation. It seemed so crazy, I figured it just might work. So I took the perfect webinar and broke down the 4 core stories in the stack, added each into an email, and tested it out. The results were, well, they were amazing. So much so that we are now going back and adding them into every funnel we have. There are a few different ways that we've successfully used this so far. The first was just writing out each story for the emails. The second way was making videos telling each of the stories, and then linking to the video inside of the emails. Honestly, the way they receive the story matters less than following the actual story structure that you learned about earlier in this book. One of the keys to remember in soap opera sequence like this is that each email needs to pull people into the next story in the next email. Think about how good soap operas, reality shows and most shows on TV are able to pull you through the commercial breaks and week to week by getting you excited by what is about to happen, then cutting it off. We do the same thing in these emails, teasing about the next email that's coming so they are anxiously waiting for it. Secret number 21. Epiphany Product Launch Funnels. When ClickFunnels was getting close to its 1-year anniversary, we wanted to create a new funnel in hopes that we could get some of the same affiliate partners who had promoted our perfect webinar in the past to promote again. We knew that many of them would not want to just promote the same webinar to their followers again, so we decided to switch from a webinar to a product launch funnel. Inside the .com Secrets book, I also shared our product launch funnels, as well as the scripts we've had success with in the past inside of the product launch funnels. But I knew that the messaging and stories in our webinars worked really well, so why not just use them again here? And with that, we basically just recreated the perfect webinar and Epiphany Bridge stories inside of the product launch funnel structure. I recorded an intro video telling my origin story, then had them opt in for the rest of the videos in the sequence. Then video number 1 became secret number 1, which told them about the new opportunity. Secret number 2 focused on their internal beliefs, and secret number 3 their external beliefs. Then video number 4 was just a video of me doing the stack. It worked amazingly well, and since then I've seen dozens of others create product launch funnel versions of their perfect webinars. One of the most powerful ways we've used, and that I've started to see others adopt as well, is after someone comes through your webinar funnel, to send emails to those who didn't show up to the webinar, and have them go through the product launch sequence instead. That way, those who didn't get a chance to consume your message can get it in a different format they may be more likely to watch. Section 5. What's next? Now that you have created your presentation and the funnels that people will go through to get your message, the next questions I get a lot are, how do I get people into those funnels? What is the fuel that will ignite my following so I can start a mass movement? This section will show you how to fill your funnels and mention some other things you can do to jumpstart your success as an expert. Secret number 22. Fill your funnel. The million-dollar question everyone asks after they learn about funnels is, how do you actually get people into those funnels? I had the same question when I got started. In fact, I remember asking a friend who was having a lot of success online at the time, "How do you create traffic?" He smiled and said, "Russell, you don't need to create traffic, it's already there. People are already online. You just have to figure out how to get those people to leave where they are and come to you instead." The wheels in my head started spinning. I started thinking about where my dream customers were already congregating. I realized that, in most cases, the people I wanted to serve were already in the market looking for something. And if I could present them with my new opportunity, I could get them to leave where they were and start following me. About that same time, I heard about a concept called the Dream 100 from one of my friends and mentors, Chet Holmes. Early in Chet's career, he worked for Charlie Munger, who you may know was Warren Buffett's partner in Berkshire Hathaway. Chet sold advertising for one of the company's legal magazines. At the time, they were really struggling. Chet was working with a database of over 2,000 advertisers. He made calls and sent out materials every day. But they were still number 16 out of 16 magazines in their industry. Dead last. Then Chet got smart. He did some research and discovered that out of those 2,000 advertisers, 167 of them were spending 90% of their advertising budgets with his competitors. So he defined those 167 as his best buyers, the ones spending all the money in the industry. Once he figured that out, he stopped marketing to everybody and instead focused his time and efforts on those 167. He sent out direct mail pieces with lumpy objects in them every 2 weeks, then he followed up with a few phone calls. Twice a month he'd mail, twice a month he'd call. Now Chet was known for what he called PhD, pig-headed determination. So he just kept going after those same people month after month. Because these were the biggest buyers, they were the hardest people to reach. But he didn't give up. After 4 months of following this strategy, he got 0 response. Pretty discouraging, right? Then in his 4th month, something changed. He landed his first big account, Xerox. It was the biggest advertising buy ever for the company. By the 6th month, he had landed 29 of the 167. And with those 29, Chet doubled the sales over the previous year. They went from number 16 to number 1 in the industry in just over a year. And he kept doubling sales for the next 3 years. Later on in his career, Chet wrote a screenplay and wanted to sell it to a big Hollywood studio. So he followed the same Dream 100 strategy. He researched and found 100 Hollywood producers, actors, directors, and other people who could make his film a reality. He focused on his Dream 100 list and relentlessly pursued these guys. And yes, eventually he did sell his film to one of those big studios. So what does this have to do with you? Well, when I first heard Chet explain how the Dream 100 worked, I realized that there were probably 100 people who already had my dream customers. They had the traffic. I didn't need to create it, I just needed to figure out how to get those people to come and see my new opportunity instead. The first step in this Dream 100 process was going back to secret number 1. Remember when I created my new niche? We started with the 3 hot markets: health, wealth, and relationships. From there, I drilled down into a sub-niche inside of one of those markets. Then within that sub-niche, I created my new opportunity. I found that the key to the Dream 100 was to step back from my niche and go back up to the sub-market level. Inside of that sub-market are all the niches where my traffic is already congregating. All I needed to do was figure out who was controlling that traffic. I quickly realized that the people who controlled that traffic were typically one of 4 types: list owners, bloggers, podcasters, or social media influencers, including YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc. I started searching and found list owners with email lists of 20,000 to 200,000 or more of my dream customers. Bloggers and podcasters who had millions of readers and listeners, and social media influencers who could drive tens of thousands of clicks to anything they wanted to talk about. I saw their power, so I started to build out my Dream 100 list of these people and companies. Initially, I tried to find 25 list owners in my submarket, 25 bloggers, 25 podcasters, and 25 social media influencers. After I filled out that list, I had the 100 people who already had the attention of those I wanted to serve. Then I put together a plan to infiltrate my Dream 100. The first goal was to start building relationships with my Dream 100. As Harvey Mackay said, you want to dig your well before you're thirsty. The worst time to contact your Dream 100 is the day you need them to promote something for you. The best time to start building relationships is now. So when you are ready to ask them to promote you, that relationship will already be there. Dig your well strategy number 1. I started by following them, sending friend requests, subscribing to their emails lists, blogs, and podcasts, and buying their products. I wanted to put them on my radar so I could see what they were doing and get to know who they were before I made my first contact. There is nothing worse than getting a meeting with an influencer and not knowing who they are, what they're working on, or what's important to them. I've met a lot of people through the years who somehow make it through my gatekeepers, but when they get on the phone, they're so focused on selling me something that we never get past the first few minutes. If you want to build a relationship with your Dream 100, you need to be prepared. Dig your well strategy number 2. After I know who they are and understand what's important to them, I want to give them a platform that helps to promote them, but at the same time gives me the ability to build a relationship with them. My favorite way to do that is to interview them for my podcast or my blog. I can usually get 30 to 60 minutes to ask them questions and build a relationship during that interview. When I promote that interview, it helps them as well. Most of my best partners started with me interviewing them and then taking that relationship from the interview into strategy number 3. Dig your well strategy number 3. Now that I have a basic relationship with them, one of the main things I like to ask, and I learned this from Sean Stevenson, is what project they're working on that is most important to them at the moment. After they tell me, I figure out what extra value I can offer to help them reach their goal. And that's it. It's simple, but it's how great business relationships are built. I'm digging my well before I'm thirsty. When should you start digging your well? Well, there is an old Chinese proverb that says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. You need to start this strategy now, no matter where you are in your business today. After you've spent time digging your well, start looking for ways to leverage these relationships to gain access to their followers. If you have created a truly new opportunity that will serve their audience, then there are lots of ways you can work together. If you've picked a niche, then you'll likely be in direct competition with many of your Dream 100. But if you've created your niche, your new opportunity, then you should be complementary to most of them. This makes the promotion process a lot easier. Promotion strategy number 1. The easiest and best way to work with your Dream 100 is to get them to promote you and your new opportunity to their following. That's my number 1 goal. I focus hard on the relationship. And when the time is right, I ask them to promote my webinar. I reach out to my Dream 100 by sending them a physical newsletter and package in the mail every month with information about the special promotions we are running and how they can be part of them. Even though my Dream 100 has grown to nearly 600 people, I still send a package and give them a call every month. Not everyone on my Dream 100 will promote my products. In fact, many of them I can never even get on the phone. But I consistently market to them, because one yes can put me in front of their audience of hundreds of thousands of people or more. I've had times when one person on my Dream 100 has said yes, and within 3 months that relationship netted over $1 million. It's worth consistently building relationships with those people. I would say that about 30% of the traffic into my funnels comes from this strategy. Promotion strategy number 2. While my main goal is to get my Dream 100 to promote my product, oftentimes they can't or won't, and that's okay. Over the past few years, most of the social networks have opened up their advertising platforms so I can promote to the fans and followers of specific people or companies. For example, I can go to Facebook and show ads to all the Tony Robbins fans, one of my Dream 100. You could go to Twitter and target Ashton Kutcher's followers, if he's in your Dream 100. So I create specific ads to target the followers of each person on my Dream 100 list. Each network is different and they change frequently, so you'll need to stay on top of the networks you want to use. But if you go to www.phillyourfunnel.com, you can see the most up-to-date training for each network. About 40% of my traffic comes from this strategy. Promotion strategy number 3. So where does the last 30% come from? About 10% comes from marketing, search engine optimization, and other things we're doing each day, but the last 20% comes from something I learned called integration marketing from my first mentor, Mark Joyner. He wrote an awesome book by the same name that shows you how to integrate into the sales flow of your Dream 100. If you look at the sales path that customers of people on your Dream 100 are going through, you can find places where it would make sense for your products or services to be offered. The idea is to integrate your offers into their natural sales funnel. Can you put one of your products on one of their thank you pages? Can you put your ad in a PS on their emails? Could you co-create a product that you both promote and both get customers from? How can you integrate into your Dream 100 sales funnels? This way, it's not just one and done, instead you will get a continuous stream of customers. There are thousands of creative ways to integrate with your Dream 100. There are Southwest many ways to drive traffic and fill your funnels. But all my strategies are built on the foundation of the Dream 100. When you understand the strategy behind how and why this works, you can quickly and easily start getting customers into your funnel. Again, the tactics will change. But if you master the Dream 100 strategy, you will always be able to fill your funnels with new people. Conclusion, your invitation. Phew. I'm sure that right now you're probably feeling like you have been drinking from a fire hose, and I totally understand that. The concepts I've laid out here took me over 10 years to discover from dozens of different mentors and a whole lot of trial and error. I wish I'd had something like this when I got started. I hope that instead of feeling overwhelmed, you'll realize that this is actually a huge shortcut. I only shared in these pages those things that have been proven to work in my own and our other members' businesses. You can have faith, knowing that you're not implementing stuff that has been proven in hundreds of different markets. The diagrams that I included in each chapter should also help you quickly recall the core messages so you'll be able to reflect on them over and over again and refer to them quickly as you build your culture, create your products, tell your stories, and build your funnels. If you're wondering where you should start, this is what I'd recommend. 1. Become very clear about who you want to serve and what new opportunity you will create. 2. Get results for your beta group. Your results will become the foundation your expert business will grow from. 3. Become a master storyteller. This is the most important skill you can learn. 4. Change the world. Your message has the ability to change people's lives, so use it. I hope that reading this book has been a great investment of your time. I spent over 18 months writing it and rewriting it because I wanted it to be perfect for you. But no matter how good you make a book, it can never be as good as having me or my team work with you personally on your funnel, stories, and presentation. If you'd like to work more closely with us to develop your expert business, I invite you to attend one of our Funnel Hackathon events. During these events, we spend a few days in a small group working together to build your mass movement, create your stories, build your presentation, and launch your funnels. If you'd be interested in coming to our next Funnel Hackathon, you can get more information at www.funnelhackathon.com. After you apply there, someone on my team will contact you. If you're a good fit, we could be meeting at my office later this month. I'm a big believer that money follows speed. Don't let this opportunity pass you by, let's get your message out to the world. I also invite you to join our private Facebook group of fellow funnel hackers like yourself. You can meet others who are using this process and can share their stories with you. Join us at www.projectclickfunnels.com. Now that we're wrapping up Expert Secrets, I want to end where we started. Throughout our lives, we go through different stages. For most of us in this expert space, there was a time when we focused on growth. We studied books, learned and tested things, and became the people we felt we needed to become. We each followed our own path. And no matter how much time we focused on growth, after a while it got old. We started to wonder, is there anything else? There's got to be more. We get to that stagnation point, because growth is just half of what we need to have true fulfillment in life. The second half of fulfillment comes from contribution. I want to congratulate you for taking that next step, moving beyond mere personal growth and deciding to use your life lessons to contribute and help others. I know that as you do that, you'll become more and more fulfilled. This is one of the wonderful benefits of launching an expert-based business and selling products and programs. Throughout this book, I've talked a lot about conversion rates and how to make the most money from the least amount of ad spend. And that's great. It's important. But what it all comes down to, what matters the most, is not how much money you make. It's how many lives you impact. The money is just a cool way to keep track of what's happening. Getting people to give you money is also one of the best ways you can hold them accountable to their goals. I struggled with my business for almost 2 years because I was so scared of investing in myself. I was never able to ask other people to invest in the products and services I created either. It wasn't until I started making financial commitments with different coaches and mentors that I was finally able to become congruent. Because I was investing in myself, I was able to go out and ask others to invest in themselves with my products and services. I know selling may not be your favorite activity. But when people pay you, it gives them the transformation they need to change their lives. It's a cool cycle that we have a chance to go through. You get to create something, test it out, and, if it works, you get paid. The more you focus on that cycle, the more lives you will be able to change. The Expert Secrets process focuses on one core funnel, the perfect webinar, getting you into the habit of producing a live event every single week. Consistency pays. And if you spend any time inside my ClickFunnels or Funnel Hacker communities, you know there are lots of other ways to monetize your knowledge, provide value to your customers, and make money. You can just keep stacking funnel upon funnel based on what your audience needs and wants. I want to invite you to hang out with me and the other amazing people in my world. Spend time in our Facebook groups, watch our videos, come to our events, and make friends with other people like you. They may be in a different market and have a different message, but they have the same mission. They're trying to change the world in their own little way. That's been my driving force for the last decade, and I just feel so blessed to have a chance to work with entrepreneurs like you who are doing the exact same thing. With that said, I encourage you to master the skills in this book. Become a master storyteller. Really become the vehicle for change that I know you can be. After you've done that, I encourage you to go deeper. Spend more time with us and figure out how to take your company, your business, and your customers' lives to the next level. Thanks for spending this time with me. I'll talk to you soon. Russell Brunson. P.S. Remember, you're just one funnel away.